5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, howdy, y'all. It's time for the U.S. Grand Prix review. Trying to do my best Daniel Ricciardo impression of an American. This is episode number 30 of the BackMarkers F1 show. And, okay, that's enough of that for now. We're recapping the race in Austin. We're just a couple hours removed, and, man, it turned out to be a pretty good race.
It's a really good race. The last, 20, 25 laps is what I want from, every race. But obviously it doesn't happen like that. But it was good. It was nice seeing everybody in the race and still competing towards the very end, except for very unfortunate Daniel Ricciardo.
Exactly. Yeah. Which, by the way, if you guys didn't see the race suits that they had, the best I've ever seen, probably.
They were great. I really liked them. Because I didn't get to catch the beginning of the race, but I saw Verstappen come out. I'm like, that's fresh. That looks really nice. But apparently the commentators didn't sound like they liked the suits.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
a little older generation.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I thought they were stylish and it fit the. I know they do it when they're in Austria. They do the later hosen and they have the overall things and stuff like that. So,
oh, I didn't know that actually. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Red Bull is more innovative and fresh like that. So that's cool. But we'll jump right into it. Mainly it's what happened on lap 1, and then of course, like you were saying, what happened in the last 15 to 20 laps or so, which was really the most interesting. And I guess we can get this out of the way right at the beginning. Our man, Kimi Raikkonen,
finally did it.
We finally did it. We were waiting, and we were saying all race long, all season long, we never stopped believing. We said he'll win one at one point in the season, at some point.
He's got to get his one, man. And you know what? He killed it. He had a fantastic race, and even towards the end there, slowed it right down for Verstappen and Hamilton to battle it out, so he can get that win. And he said it best, fucking finally.
Is that what he said on the radio?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't catch that. Yeah, it was. It's been a long time coming. First win since Australia 2013. They said 2,000 whatever days. It
was 2,044 days or something like that.
Yeah.
It was good for him, and it might be one of his very last wins that we see Kimi Raikkonen up in first place. So.
Probably. And because of that, our F1 fantasy players out there, we got one half of our prize sitting right here. It is a 2018 replica Kimi Raikkonen hat. So I said I was going to post this out the week before, but I got a little bit lazy and I forgot. But I just had a feeling. I'm like, you know what? Let me just sit on it till after the U.S. Grand Prix.
It was a good call.
Perfect timing. So congratulations, Kimi. That's one half of our prize, and we will reveal the next half in Mexico when the next race is next weekend. So yeah, let's start on the lap 1 craziness. A lot of guys were out of position because Sebastian Vettel, another mistake, got the 3-place grid penalty for the red flag. So, just to quickly touch on that, the rule is kind of a bit odd and it's kind of a bit stupid. But the thing is that Ricciardo got a penalty for it in Australia. I believe Ocon got the penalty in Japan last time, so it had to be applied. I mean, you can't play favorites in this situation, although we've seen the FIA kind of, give penalties to different drivers, different scenarios. So I think that maybe there needs to be a revision of the penalty because Vettel made a good point that, you don't want to slow down so much that you could crash into somebody else. Yeah. But, per the telemetry data, he did not slow down enough. So, I mean, it's something that he probably should have known. But, yeah, as a result of that, he was close in qualifying, very, very close. And it made for an interesting grid because you had Verstappen, of course, who broke the suspension on the curb, which the Circuit of the Americas called the Verstapper, the new big sausage curbs that they put in, so drivers don't abuse track limits. But yeah, just broke the suspension. Then they had to change the gearbox, started P18 all the way at the back of the grid. But I mean, for him, who cares?
Man, if you're making top 3 and you're starting at the bottom of the grid, you are a fantastic driver, in my opinion. He's at 21 too, and that's unreal, man. What we were saying, that's 2 races in a row that he's come down from bottom of the grid position to make it to top 3, or he made top 3 last time, right?
I think so. I'm not sure if it was that. I think it might have been in Russia where he started farther down. Yeah, I think in Japan he qualified well, but yeah, I think in Russia he made just sort of same moves. Yeah, we'll touch on him a little bit later on because he really impressed me in this race too. So yeah, I mean, lap one was fun and good to see Ricardo. He finally got up in the, he qualified the highest since Monaco. I know we were having that debate a couple weeks ago, like when was his last podium? And we were like, oh shit, it was Monaco.
2 wins this season,
Yeah.
and only 2 podiums, which was a huge surprise for us.
Yeah, exactly. So going back to lap one, I don't know if Mercedes put like an IndyCar setup on Lewis Hamilton's car because he just went left, straight left, like forgot how to point the car straight, which I mean, I guess it's within the rules and it's within his right. We've seen Vettel do it all the time, point the car that way. But again, Raikkonen at 39 years old just showed that composure. I honestly thought that he was going to get ahead of him. He was on the ultra soft, so a lot more grip off the start. I think the track position, honestly, is better to be on the inside there. So that didn't surprise me at all when he got by him. And then after that, the chaos sort of. You had a lot of guys in midfield. Apologies to the midfield, but we really don't care today.
No, it was a very top 6, top 5 finish today. Top 5 of the race today.
Definitely. And then I believe it was turn 10 or turn 11 where, well, it was after the last straight where Vettel got by Ricardo. Looks like he got the move done, but then didn't get such a good exit out of the corner. And then they go side by side, and again, it's like as soon as Vettel touches anything, he spins out. And I know the
It
commentators
was a
were
full
talking.
180 degree that he did, right?
Yeah.
With that touch, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Ricardo, nothing happened to him. Racing incident, Vettel had a bit of an understeer going into that corner, which is why he ended up making contact with Ricardo. But you can't blame Danny Rick. I mean, it's how much more room is he going to give him, right? So I don't know what it is, but every time it seems like Vettel makes contact, he spins it. So I don't know if it's something that he does with the throttle or the brake. I don't know what it is, but they were right. It's like it seems like he forgot how to race wheel to wheel with people. And so it's like,
I don't know, man, and it's really hard to see Vettel in that kind of position because there was a couple of times today where he had a good run going towards the end to catch up to Bottas, catch up to Hamilton, but just that final little bit, it just seemed like Vettel he wasn't either mentally or physically just wasn't really there for it, to make that extra step to take it over. But that was my opinion on the matter, but that's all I can really say.
I don't know if it was the pressure just of the whole weekend or whatever, frustration. It seems like the issue with Ferrari's performance has been their newest upgrade that came in Singapore. So I know that we were thinking that maybe it was that second sensor that they put into the car and maybe that there was some sort of, illegal actions going on from Ferrari and then the FIA kind of clamped down on them. But from what I understand from what Vettel was saying and the team is that it turns out that the Singapore upgrades just did not work. So that's why from Singapore until now you saw that Ferrari was kind of lacking in performance. And then all of a sudden in Austin, they're sort of back on the pace and significant straight line speed advantage. Well, that's due to the fact that they went back to an older setup on the car, which I believe they said was almost as far back as Germany.
Oh, wow.
So, it's funny how that works, right? Because you'd think that when you bring upgrades to a car, it's to make the car better, but it turns out it made it worse. And then, you had a couple of kind of street circuit tracks that maybe the upgrade didn't work very well in either. So I think maybe that's where the frustration came. And you heard him over the radio after qualifying. He's like, how much did I miss it by? And he's like, 60,000. He's like, fuck's sakes. Fuck's sakes. So maybe that was the frustration. Like, if we would have just stayed with the same car, we might have been in a different position.
We could have seen it in a different position on the grid.
Yeah, but again, I mean, he kind of screwed himself this weekend. Luckily, the championship continues to Mexico.
He needs to win the next 3.
I mean, not impossible. But
no, it's not. I mean, we've seen him win 2 in a row this season. I don't think he's won 3 in a row, but I think we've seen him win 2 in a row this season. So
yeah, he could do it.
It can be done, but that also requires Hamilton to mess up and not make it into the top 3 whatsoever, right? So it's a hard position to be in.
Sure.
I think Verstappen said it best after the race. It's like, so did you win the championship? No. Oh. And you know what? At that point, I'm pretty sure Verstappen knew exactly what he did to fuck shit up.
I had to go back because after you texted me, I'm like, I didn't notice that. And then I saw it. I'm like, yeah, he knew.
He knew exactly what he was saying to Hamilton because you saw Hamilton just walk right away from him. He's like, no.
Well, you saw it in his on-track battle. He's like, oh, you're going for a 5th world title? Fuck your shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was, I want to finish P2 in this race. So
yeah, man. And you know what? I don't know if we're going to touch on it later, but like he incredible defensive driving towards the end there, especially for the fact that for 50 laps or so he was playing catch up, and then the last 5 laps he just like at one point I thought Hamilton had him, and they showed a replay of it of him, the Mercedes team, thinking he has it all the way. And then he just comes out of nowhere and just goes right on the inside to take the lead. So
crazy.
Or keep in second. So it was very impressive.
Same. I thought it was over after he went on the outside and you saw on the onboard he had the advantage, and then I think they cut to a wider shot and then you saw Verstappen coming in
just
on
coming
the
right out of it. I was like, oh my god! I was cheering for Verstappen at that point. I was like, oh my god, okay, he's lost it, and I'm like, okay, he still got it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my roommates were worried what happened because I screamed at the TV at that point. I was like, shit.
Yeah, that was, and his tires were on the edge too. He was on the softer tire with the super soft. So, yeah, I mean, we could talk about Max a little bit more now, but you're starting to see how good he can be in the future, and he has that sort of, I don't know, that attitude that he doesn't really care in the sense of, you're fighting for a world title. It doesn't mean anything to Verstappen for him to really get, a handful of points. He's out of it, but that's the racer in him, you know what I mean? And I think he's a really pure racer.
Oh, I agree. And we mentioned it before where, like, we've seen a huge change halfway through the season, right before halfway through the season, of his mindset of how he wants to take the series. Okay, he's like, I'm not going to make the top 3. I'm still going to give it my all and try to win it. And what I find most impressive is that he's doing it half the time without another driver to back him up.
Right.
Like every time he's gotten like a top 3, top 4 position, like Ricciardo either has been knocked out or he's pretty low. He's like not low, but like, just above mid. So that's what has me most impressed. So I'm excited to see possibly next year of Gasly and Verstappen actually working together, because it should be interesting if he has another driver to back him up, because he's obviously going to be the primary driver now.
Yeah, it makes it hard for strategy for sure, because they don't have, like you said, his teammate to sort of help him out in that case. Yeah, I mean, another tough day for Ricciardo. I think it was some sort of engine issue I didn't hear.
Well, it looks like they were still trying to figure it out, like towards the end of the race. So
yeah, it's just, I mean, he's probably just at this point hoping that the season will end and then he can move on. But for sure, I think if he had a little bit of help in that point, he can maybe make it easier for him on the strategy. But he's managed everything really well.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's impressive on his own with a team, with an actual another driver there to help him out with more team strategy. We could see him in higher positions next year.
Yeah, and if he has the car, I think that he can beat Hamilton, because Hamilton, I think the only driver he's concerned with is Verstappen. And he even said it when he was doing those like hot laps over the weekend, and the guy's asking him like, "Oh, if like Max is on your right, where are you going?" He's like, "To the left, because Max is on my right."
He's like, "No, I'm not going near that guy." But you know what? I think the Red Bull car really suits Verstappen's driving style, because he's a really aggressive driver, and we've heard the commentators say it so many times. The chassis on the Red Bull car is one of the most impressive, is one of the most well done out of all the cars, and I think it really suits his driving style.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe he'll with Red Bull changes next year, it might be a different kind of game, but we'll see.
Well, hopefully that Honda power unit will bring more engine power for them, because when you saw with this track too, I mean, this track, it doesn't necessarily suit Red Bull because you have a couple straights, but one of the reasons why he was staying ahead of Hamilton is because, through the S's, that's, a lot more downforce sensitive when you go through the S's, and in Sector 3 in particular, when you have those slow to medium slow corners, that's where the Red Bull kind of excels.
And like the prime example was that the Lewis Hamilton fight towards the end. Like his tires were pretty low, but he still managed to get out of that, staying very close to him and avoiding Hamilton the entire time. We could say at the beginning of the season we would have seen Verstappen either hitting Hamilton or going off track, but he was the most impressive through that entire battle.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's what we need to see more from Vettel, that disciplined aggression. Yeah. That's what Verstappen's sort of been able to kind of get under control ever since his last mistake or run-in with a driver like that. So yeah, and from Hamilton too, it was kind of good conservative driving sort of at the end, because he did push it a little bit, but he didn't go too crazy, because he knows that if he crashes out and doesn't finish with any points, then that makes things complicated. So I think after a while he realized that he wasn't going to get it this weekend. So, but yeah, like Max, I think if it was any other driver, he would have gotten by him, but he knew that it was in tough with Verstappen ahead of him. So, but good for him. I mean, that's why should he give up a position, right?
Exactly. No, he's there to do the best he can, and I think slowly he's winning more respect of the other drivers as well within the season.
Yeah.
With Hamilton and Vettel, we saw their reactions at the beginning of the year, especially Hamilton's. I think slowly we're starting to see more of a respect between Hamilton and Verstappen, because even at the end of the race when they were interviewing Hamilton, all credit goes to obviously all credit goes to Kimi, but Verstappen had an amazing race. So I think, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, if you give him a car that's that's at the top of the field, then I think he'll be right there in the mix for sure. So I mean, looking forward to it next year if they have that power unit and that engine, all fixed up and reliable, and also with more power. Then he'll be right up there for sure. So we saw the best of him today. That's for sure. And I mean, just the way he cuts through the field so easily. It's just amazing, and like you said, he's only 21, so a lot more time left for him in the sport. So we had that kind of normal lull through a race where honestly not much was going on, even overtakes, not really much was happening. But I kind of felt that they focused a lot more on the front this time instead of the mid pack, which is understandable because championship was on the line.
It could have been decided at this point. So
yeah, exactly. So I mean, talking about the tire strategy and the pit stop strategy. At the time, looked like Ferrari blew it again because we had that virtual safety car courtesy of Daniel Ricciardo. Yeah. Hamilton came in and they were saying, opposite of Raikkonen. So Raikkonen kind of did that nice fake. Yeah. I think he could have sold it even more. Like, could have did like a hard left and then steer back right. But he did a little fake, stayed out, and then Hamilton came in. So, it looked like, because when he came out, I believe within a lap or two, he was like 12 seconds behind Raikkonen or something. So, like I said, at the time it seemed like, why didn't Ferrari, because they didn't bring in Vettel or Raikkonen. So that was a bit kind of strange, but the strategy was to go the one stop, keep Raikkonen out on the ultra soft, and then, hold him up essentially. And then I was worried that Raikkonen was playing that game of I'm going to hold up the pack so Vettel can get closer. Yeah. But then Vettel was just too far away, so then I saw that, okay, so Raikkonen is racing for the win. He is racing for himself, so that was good to see. But it was pretty dicey because once Hamilton got the fresh tires on in his second stop, I mean, he was on it. But going back to just the battle between Raikkonen and Hamilton, that was a lot of fun.
It was. And you know what? We've shat on Ferrari's strategy before, but like you said, they got it bang on this time. And half the times we've seen a race when the virtual safety car has come in, a lot of the time the top three finishes have been because the cars have gone in the pit lane and right away and done it. And like you said, we thought it was another oops by Ferrari, but they managed to pull through and they did really well, and I'm sure Kimi's really happy with with everybody in his garage at the moment. So
yeah, I know, because just from their track record, didn't look like it was a smart decision, but somehow it worked. I mean, I don't know what kind of information that they had, because there's a lot of wet running in Friday, and even the Saturday was dry, but Friday was all washed out essentially, so they didn't really have a whole lot of info. But it's usually Ferrari that kind of tends to struggle a bit more with the tires, but Hamilton had massive blistering toward the end, so it was close. I mean, a couple laps here and there, and maybe he could have put Raikkonen under threat, but having Verstappen in the middle between them, I think the hardest
really
part.
Helped out. I think if it was, a 60-lap race, I think we would have seen possibly a Hamilton win, because I think those extra 5 laps would have given Hamilton what he needed, but I think Kimi did a really good job by slowing it down. The commentator said it. If he slows it right down, the fight is between Verstappen and Hamilton, and then by the time Hamilton gets out of it, he's going to be nowhere close. And I think he chose the right moment to slow it down, not wait till the final 10 laps. He waited till the final 5 to 6 laps to really slow it down. So
yeah, and then after they kind of Hamilton and Lewis, or sorry, Hamilton and Max kind of came together. You know, Raikkonen pulled away, and then it was.
And that was pretty much it. We at that point we knew Kimi had the race. It was down to him. And I think even at the 15th lap, Ferrari was saying the last 3 Hamilton has you. So if you got to do something, or he has you for the last 3 laps, and it almost did happen.
Yeah, very close.
Like I think it was the 4th lap where that Verstappen Hamilton incident happened. If Hamilton had gone past, that would have been it.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely would have had a really good chance at Raikkonen, but I mean, what can you say? Like 39, right? He still got it. So now's the question, like, you know, was that a smart move to let him go for 2019?
Honestly, it's hard to say after this race, but I think so. I think at this point, Ferrari needs to worry more about having a younger driver behind the bench, because Kimi's super experienced, nothing against him, but I think they knew Kimi was coming towards his end, and we've seen him come so close and just struggle to make that final little bit to win, and I don't know, I think it's nice to see somebody younger come in, and I think every driver in the world, no matter what team or what driver you cheer for, will always have respect for Kimi. Like, he's just that kind of guy. He's So that's my opinion on the matter.
I think for everybody watching, we were cheering for Kimi. Yeah. No matter who, whatever you're a fan of, it's you wanted him to win, and it was so close in Italy, and he kind of got screwed over there. But then it just all came together well for him. So I think that they should have kept him at least one more year. Just based on France until now, he's been probably the most consistent driver. Yeah. And like I said, it's just his racecraft has been a lot better this year. First time since Abu Dhabi 2016, he actually gained a place on the opening lap. So that was an area of concern for him, was first lap starts. Qualifying too, he wasn't very good in a lot of the races this season. But I still think that if this is going to be a battle between Ferrari and Mercedes, having a guy like Kimi Raikkonen on your team is just... I mean, it doesn't compare. I mean, nothing against Charles Leclerc, and he might come in next year and do very well. That's a possibility. But is he ready to battle Lewis Hamilton and the big Mercedes juggernaut in his second year in Formula One? I don't know. Maybe he will be. Verstappen, he's very young, and he's dealing with pressure very well. So we'll see what happens. But I just think that Raikkonen, being so experienced, could help Vettel in a way, but could also provide healthy competition for his teammate and also for Mercedes as well. So, I mean, if Ferrari doesn't kind of screw him out of some strategies, he probably would have won 2 or 3 races this year.
I agree. I think he would have had Italy for sure. And what was the other one? I can't remember. But there was another
one or two,
that he came very close to winning, and it was like the last 10 laps or something he lost it. So there was a couple of them. So. And every time we were always cheering for Kimi. So
exactly. And I mean, this is most likely his last win in F1. I mean, unless next 3 races, 3 races, maybe something like Abu Dhabi when nothing is on the line, or Brazil possibly. I mean, he's won there before, I believe. So maybe, but this very well is his last win. I mean, obviously, with all due respect to Sauber, they're not going to be winning races.
No, and they're not. But we never know what Kimi can pull through with that car. We can maybe just be there in the middle, just to provide some competition for the midfield pack. So
yeah, for sure. It's good to see, though, man. It was a long time coming, but like I said, at his age, at 39, to show you had 20 laps there just completely under 100% pressure, no mistakes, or you've got 2 guys right behind you that are going to blow right past you, and perfect. Just I'm a big fan of his racecraft, the way he manages everything, and I'm glad that Ferrari didn't kind of screw him and played the backing up the field game or anything like that. So good for him, good for Kimi Raikkonen, and I mean, he seemed pretty happy.
He did.
Very reserved, right? I mean, you'd think after 5 years he would
be a little more happy about it, but that's Kimi.
Just who he is, yeah. And on the podium, first things first, I got to take a drink. Why waste a good champagne, right?
It's true. It's true. You got to savor it. It's been 5 years since he's had the race winning champagne. It's a little different.
Yeah. So I haven't checked his Instagram yet. So maybe there's something good on there. So.
But I do have to say, I was hoping Hamilton was going to win, so we could finally see Bottas finally released for these last 3 races.
Right.
But maybe we'll have to wait for a couple more.
I think we will. Yeah. That must suck. Like going into the car knowing that, okay, well, I can't win today unless.
He's like, I'm the defensive driver, and you know what? Like, I get it. It is a team sport. But yeah, I was really looking forward to having the shackles release off of Bottas for these last 3 races. So it should be interesting.
Yeah, we got a couple more to go. So I mean, I'm glad that Hamilton didn't win the championship here because it would have taken away from Raikkonen's win.
No, 100%. I'm a full credit to Kimi. I'm just saying, but
yeah, going into Mexico, I think that's pretty much a wrap on the U.S. Grand Prix. I mean. Just trying to think of what else happened in the race. I mean, that was the main highlight, really, was just that battle between the 3 of them. And
I mean, yeah, like the Kimi was ahead by 2 laps, almost like 2 laps towards the end. So you can't really comment on anybody after that.
Yeah, exactly. That was the main focus, really. We had Alonso retiring on the first lap incident. One of the Haas cars, I think Grosjean, retired as well. So that kind of sucks on their home race. But there was some contact between them. I actually thought the incident was Stroll and Alonso. I kind of thought that Alonso was more at fault in there because he sort of squeezed, Lance out of room, and Stroll really had nowhere to go, and I think he was on the proper racing line. So I believe he served a pit drive-through, I believe. But other than that, there was, like I said, it seems like the directors didn't really focus that much on the midfield.
No,
so.
It really didn't. I mean, how can you? Like towards. Maybe like towards the beginning of the race you could, but like halfway through, it was pretty much all about the top 5, top 4 drivers at that point.
Exactly. So I mean, going into Mexico, that'll be the second of the back-to-back. So that's next Sunday. I believe it's in Mexico City, but it's the Mexican Grand Prix. So the title stipulation is, I believe, that if Lewis Hamilton just needs 5 points, and then he will be the world champion. So there's probably a bunch of different scenarios that are out there in terms of how he can wrap it up.
Yeah, so even if Vettel comes in second,
I believe, because you get 18 for second.
I think
and
you
25
get 8.
for first.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So essentially, I mean, it's unless Hamilton were to finish outside the points, or to be honest with you, at this point, if you have a Ferrari, a Mercedes, or even a Red Bull, even if you start way at the back of the grid, you're going to be in the points.
You're going to be in the points. It's true.
So,
clearly proven by Verstappen in almost every few races. So.
Yeah, and it's a good news for Max and Red Bull because Mexico is a good track for them. With the higher altitude, it's tough on the engine, so they usually take advantage of that. If he won last year, Hamilton wrapped up the championship in Mexico last year, so most likely we'll do it again. Yeah. It's just how it is now with the gap so big. I mean, it's just the amount of margin for victory is just coming down. So
the other thing was Kimi's now in 3rd, correct? He's
ahead
of Bottas.
How big is that, right?
Yeah.
I think that would be huge. To be honest with you, for him to finish in the top 3 of the Drivers' Championship will be really huge for him. So, I mean, he's got a lot of confidence now going into this race. I think Ferrari will be really strong at this track again. They got pole last year. So it's all to play for, really. Championship is over. Forget it. Forget your teammate. Forget anybody. Drive for yourself.
It's just bring it down to the racing. That's all you really want for the last 3 races of the season.
Yeah. So exactly. So it was a good one though. They provided the U.S. fans with a lot of good action. So
especially because there was NASCAR going on at the same time. So.
Yeah, exactly, right. So they had to sort of get the audience away from that race. But I mean, they're trying to, right? They had the fan festival in Miami. Yeah. They had a bunch of cars. It was funny because they had the 2-seaters went out, and the 2-seaters, one of them stalled, but then they got to fire it up pretty quickly. But the other one stalled it, I think, and then they had to get the tractor and the trailer to come out. And I'm like, well, that's a great way to sell it to the American fans, right?
So that's how it goes.
But yeah, that was a kind of cool event. But other than that, I think that was pretty much it from the race. Yeah. So Hamilton will have to wait for number 5, but I think he'll get it next week in Mexico, and then he'll be making some history. That's for sure. Anything else from your end?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah. So I think that'll be it for the U.S. Grand Prix recap. We're in a different studio today, if you guys haven't noticed. Our other normal area where we record is just being used, so we had to relocate just for this episode. We'll be back next week after the Mexican Grand Prix. So 3 races left in the season. We go to Mexico, Brazil, and then the season finale in Abu Dhabi. That also means 3 more races left to go in our fantasy. So we'll get one half of our prize, which is the Kimi Raikkonen 2018 replica cap, and then we'll show you guys what the other half of that prize is next week. So stay up to date on that. As usual, subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us across social media. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of the United States Grand Prix, and I hope we got a lot of Kimi Raikkonen fans commenting. Yep. It was a historic win for our man. The Iceman is back. He's back on top, and hopefully he'll celebrate for a good week. And go into Mexico, and who knows, might just grab another one.
He's in the U.S., so he can go party with Hamilton in Miami.
Exactly, and Verstappen too. He's 21
exactly.
now, so
now he can do it. There
exactly. The boys are gonna have some fun.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a whole bunch of Hollywood actors and such on at this race. I know I saw Millie Bobby Brown, but
I have no idea who that is, by the way.
That's from Stranger Things.
Oh, okay.
The girl from Stranger Things, but yeah.
I was like Bobby Brown. Isn't that Whitney Houston's boyfriend or something? Like,
I have no idea.
Yeah, anyways.
But yeah,
so
we'll leave it at that. We know more about sports than we know about anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Who else was there? They had like Matthew McConaughey was there. Okay, cool. I'm trying
Should I say all right?
Yeah, all right. Good old Texas. I will have to go down to Texas one day.
Yeah, 1 point.
Seems fun. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. That was episode number 30. Of the U.S. Grand Prix recap. Yeah, we'll be back for the race in Mexico. Until then, see you later.
Peace.